Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. I can also be found on Instagram and Facebook at Judy Lee Creations, and I also have a website or a blog, judyleecreations.ca. Okay, so this video I'll be showing you how to create this Merry Christmoose card. And I have my recipe right here. This is the card that I created for my team holiday swap. So we use all current Stampin' Up! Products, and we'll be using a few techniques today. We'll be using an ink blending technique, masking, and what we call a second generation stamping. So if you like this stamp set, it is found in our holiday catalog, August to December 2020 mini catalog, on page 27. Let's see here. So it comes in a bundle. It comes with a punch. So you get all these here: happiest of holidays. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Merry Christmoose. I love puns, so that I used that on this card. Get some trees, the moose, and a little raccoon here. And you can see some examples here on how they use the bundle. If you buy the bundle, which is the stamp set and the punch, you get 10% off the pricing. So it comes out to about $41.25 plus tax and shipping in Canada. If you don't have a demonstrator yet, or you like a copy, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to send you a copy of the catalog. So what you need to get started to create this card: you will need, let's see here, thick Whisper White cardstock. It will be cut to 3 3/4 and 5 inches. So this is a bit bigger. I just cut one of my 8.5 by 11 cardstock in 4s, and there's a reason for this, because I like to, when I do ink blending, I like to trim it at the end. So we'll trim it down. You will also need crumb cake. Any size is fine, as long as you can punch out the moose. And you will also need Balmy Blue. Where's my Balmy Blue? Balmy Blue cardstock, cut to 8.5 inches by 5.5. So pretty much just cut your cardstock in half and scored in half. This will be your card base. And you also need Night of Navy. We will be cutting this in the video. I pre-cut the other ones, but I figured I'll save one piece to cut in the video and show you. This will be cut down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. So for ink pads, you will need Memento Tuxedo Black, Shaded Spruce, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Crumb Cake, and Balmy Blue. Okay, let's hope I didn't forget anything this time around. Okay, tools. You will need some sponge daubers. I had these on hand, so I labeled them the colors that I use for Balmy Blue, Pacific Point, and Night of Navy. So you need about 3. And you will need Stampin' Seal. This is Stampin' Up's new snail adhesive. You will also need a 2-inch hole punch circle, or any circle. We will be using this to cut out the masking for the moon. So whatever size moon you'd like. The Merry Christmoose punch, the moose punch. You will also need the Merry Christmoose stamp set bundle. So here you can see you get all these little cute images and sentiments. This is a photopolymer set, so you can see where you're stamping. You will also need Stampin' chalk marker to make the little snow in the background. This is optional, is the shimmery crystal effect. This, I used it to pretty much make more dots to seem more, I guess, snowy. I also used it a bit on the trees. but I didn't like how it looked at the end result, so I did not use that on the trees in the end. I only used it for the snow. And you will also need red rhinestones. This is the Stampin' Up! Stamp case. I bought it and stored my rhinestones in here all in one place. So you will need red rhinestones. Okay, because let's get started then. So we're gonna start off by doing the background. Oh yes, I also forgot. You also need scrap paper. In this case, I'm going to use line paper. It's to cut out the hills. So let's start with cutting out the mask for the hills. You can cut however you like it. I tend to just freehand. Let's see here. Let's just cut this in half. And how do I want my hill? I gotta remember, you know what, I'm gonna cut it into 4s so I can kind of gauge how big the hills are. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So looking at the card here, I want the front hill to go down that and the back hill to be. So I'm just gonna maybe go like this. Or maybe I want more though. So if you have any hill dies or so, you could use that as well. I mean, each card would probably look a bit different. I kind of don't like that, so let's recut this. A few trial and errors. Oh, you know what? I could have made it easier, fold it in half. And just cut it like that. There you go. Oh, that works. Okay, and now I want to cut the hill in the back. A bit too flat up here, huh? There, I like that. Okay. So now, once you are happy with your hill, let's just chop this off so I don't forget. What we are going to do is, so when you layer it, you're gonna lay it backwards, because when we do remove it, we need to remove this first to make that blue shading there. So when we layer it, we want to layer the back of the hill on top, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the card face. I'm just gonna tape it down with some washi tape. Where is, okay, there it is. Because I don't want it to move, so I'm just gonna washi tape it down. I don't want to cover up too much of the cardstock because when I cut in, I don't want it to show the tape. Okay, so because this is going to be in the front, we want to put it down first. So we're gonna take this down. How high do I want my hill here? How high was this guy? This is kind of trial and error. You kind of figure out where you want it, and then you tape it down, just so that it doesn't move. Let's see, that should be good there. So we've taped the pill that's going to be in the back on top, that top layer. Now we're going to mask our moon. So where is my sticky notes? I use sticky notes for this. So that is another thing that you may need. Just get off a sticky note here. So when you hole punch this, you want to make sure you have a sticky side so that it could stick to the card base. So I want to preserve as much of the stickiness that I can when punching it out. Come on, it's getting, talk about sticky, it's getting stuck to my, sticking to my punch. No, that did not punch out right. Okay, another sticky note. Why is it sticking so much to my punch? Okay, let's try this again. Okay, my punch is not cooperating today. You know what? I'm gonna trim that. No, never mind. I'm not happy with that. Let's punch it this side. There you go. Okay, I think I was pressing it too slowly. Okay, I got my moon. Let's see, where do I want my moon? Place it somewhere here. That looks good. Okay, so we got our masks down. The moon and the hills. Now, we're gonna ink blend. So you always start, well, I like to start from the lightest color to the darkest color. So we'll be starting with Balmy Blue, Pacific Point, and then Night of Navy. So let's start with Balmy Blue. And what you want to do is blend from the outside in. So you're going to use your sponge dauber. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to move this here so I don't get my hands into it. And first, I like to start on the mask to get some ink off, because you want to get as smooth blending as possible. And I'm doing it very lightly, not too much pressure. I'm just going around the moon to get that shape, that outline around the moon. Sorry, I hope I'm not shaking the table. Okay. You don't want to make it look too dark. Okay, so once I got that, now we start from the edges and move in. I think I'm gonna move this up here. Okay, start from the edge and blend in. because we're making the night sky. This is why you see my paper underneath is a lot of colors. Oops, I think I'm blending in the navy here. Maybe I should have used different paper underneath. Let's just slide this under here. This is what happens when I reuse the same sheet underneath. Okay. It's just to block the navy from underneath from coming up. I don't want it dark yet. Blend, blend, blend. So the reason why I'm starting off on the scrap paper is to make sure I don't get like harsh ink lines before I move into the cardstock. Using a very light hand. I want to make sure I'm not pulling up the mask because that's my hills. Okay, so I'm going to lightly go over this to get that outline of the hill. See some of my sponge coming off here. I'm gonna stick this on this side. Totally forgot. Okay. I love the ink blending technique because with some ink, sponge daubers, and white cardstock, you can pretty much make almost any kind of like scenery or landscape kind of background. Depending on the color combo you like to do, you can do a night or day. Takes a little while, but it's so pretty in the end. Okay, trying to smooth it out. If I'm moving the camera, I'm sorry. Okay. I can always go back later and add more color. Let's add some Pacific points to smooth it out. So this now we're using is Pacific point. Yes. Where's my Pacific point dauber? Again, starting at the edge. Now I don't want to go in too far with this color because I want the balmy blue to still show. But we're trying to, because the balmy blue is too light to be, you know, nighttime. Get it in to blend. No, staying around the edge and blending, but not blending in too far. I like how it softened up the lines from the balmy blue. and then it gives that nice kind of like halo around the moon. So you pretty much just keep going about it as much as until you're happy with how it looks. Let's add some here. I'm gonna add a bit more balmy blues to blend it out. So balmy blue. So you can always go back and add more color. Pull it in there. You know what? I think I'm gonna add some Night of Navy now and see how it looks. Night of Navy. These out since Night of Navy is like the darkest color. Try not to go in too much, otherwise it just takes away the other lighter blues. Pretty much what you're trying to do is create that like halo glow for the moon in the night. Okay, I'm gonna go back. So you see how the lines are very harsh, it's not really properly blended. Now I'm going back up to the light colors. So now I'm going back to Pacific Point. I have to close the lids of these stamp sets when I'm done using it, otherwise my hands get all over it, all inky. So you just blend over it. So what it does is it helps soften the lines and like blends it together, and it looks so pretty. Blend, blend, blend. I'm using a bit more pressure here, but it's out of habit. Don't be scared to leave some white because it just adds the effect of the halo around the moon. And some here. See how it helps soften up the lines. Okay, now let's go back to balmy blue, the lightest blue. Blend, blend, blend. Going around the outline again. Just to make sure that we have that outline. Okay. I'm wondering if I could blend out those lines there. Let's try. Okay, maybe I was too hard-handed. So that's what happens sometimes when you're hard-handed. Or heavy-handed, I should say. Okay, so now we're done. Well, not yet. Sorry. Now we're taking off the first layer of the hill mask, which is, you can see the nice crisp hill there. What we're gonna do is use the balmy blue sponge dauber. You don't need to ink it because there's, well, mine is empty. So let's ink it a bit. We're gonna use balmy blue, and we're not gonna ink it up too high. We're just gonna follow the edge of the mask here, just to get that blue haze to make that outline. Lightly, lightly. Blend, blend, blend. Don't go up too high, because you want the snow to still be crisp. Essentially what we're doing is making that hillside line so that you could tell it's in the background here. Right here. Okay, so now, if you're happy with that, you take this off. Oh, so see what happens when you do little boo-boo. I wonder if I can fix it. Let's see. Well, I was told sand eraser can erase off ink, but my sand eraser is not really erasing it much. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna cover that up with the trees, so that's fine. Okay, let's close this. Now you can remove this to see how your moon looks. Looks pretty good. Okay, stick that aside. Okay, so what I did to add some texture to the moon, you don't have to do it this hard, but pretty much use the balmy blue sponge dauber, and you're pretty much pressing the edges on it lightly like that, just to add some, you know, craters to the moon. I think I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna leave that as is before I go overboard. Now we're gonna peel this up. So, and we're gonna trim it down. And this is the reason why I cut it a bit bigger than the size that I needed, is so that I could trim off where the tape was holding it down. Okay, so let's get Stampin' Up! Has newer trimmers, but because I have a bunch of blades for their previous model, I did not purchase it yet. I will be using it out until I finish. Okay, so what was the size that we needed? We needed 3 3/4 by 5. 3 3/4 by 5. So let's make sure it's, okay, if I trim that off, let's see here. If I trim off that, let's get rid of the white edges first. Because I'm going to trim off the rest off from the bottom. Okay. Now 5 inches. Okay. And 3 3/4, right? So I'm going to trim this at 4 and then 1/4 off the other side to make sure that it's in the middle. And 3 3/4. Okay, so let's see. 5, 5, 3 3/4. So now if you see it's a bit too light, you can still add more. There's the edge there. Okay, throw those aside. Now, since we got the trimmer, okay, let's trim this down. We're gonna trim this to Night of Navy, 4 and 5 1/4. So let's go 5 1/4. Okay, 5 4. Yes, 4. So this is the Night of Navy cardstock. Okay. Card base. Okay, so now we got the background done. Oh, yes, stamp the trees. Jumping ahead of myself. And I thought I had everything, but I forgot my acrylic block. Give me 1 second. So you'll need your acrylic block. This is the D block. And we are going to mount the moose. We're gonna use, no, sorry, the trees. So we're gonna use these 2 trees here. Whoops. I dropped something. Okay. So let's do the trees in the background first. We're gonna mount the stamp on here. And we are going to use shaded spruce. So now we're gonna stamp, as you can see, the darker trees are considered 1st generation stamping, which means you stamp directly onto the paper. And then 2nd generation stamping is before you clean the stamp. Right after you stamp the first one, you stamp the second one, the second image, and you'll see what I mean. So let's start off with this side here. Ink that really well and even. And I'm gonna want the tree somewhere here. Stamp. Okay, and take it up. And then 2nd generation is I just go directly up to here. I'm gonna move it up a bit, just to give that depth perception. 2nd one there, so it's lighter. And I'm gonna want a tree somewhere over here. Stamp. Okay. And do I want another one? No. I think I'm gonna save it for the bigger one. Clean your stamps. And let's use the big tree. sure it's inked really well. Okay, and I want this tree here. Let's put it here. This tree's in the foreground. And then I'm gonna put the second tree here. Okay, and then I want one more just to fill up the gap here, but I don't want it too dark, so I'm going to stamp it off. I got the second one here. Okay, clean the stamp. So another alternative you can do if you don't want to use the Stampin' Write marker, you can use this image right here and white ink and just stamp it in the background. Okay, so let's close this first. Now, I started just pretty much random white dots around in the background, just for snow. Wherever you feel like putting the snow. No real pattern whatsoever. Want some snow in here. Okay. And then I'm adding some shimmery crystal effects. Same thing. You could go over the white dots if you like. If not, you just pretty much just making a dot. I like sparkly and shiny things, so just making dots around. You can space them out if you like. I don't put too much, otherwise it looks like an overkill. Just whatever you feel like. Okay, I think that's good. Now we're gonna let that to dry and work on, oh, sentiment, I almost forgot. You know what, I'm gonna stamp that after I put on the mousse. So, set that aside to dry. Let's work on the mousse. So we're gonna need crumb cake. We're gonna need the crumb cake ink. We're gonna need this image right here. Almost done, guys, almost done. Just gonna stamp this. Clean the stamp. Okay, oh, let's leave that there for now. Where is my punch? I'm gonna use the mousse punch, and then you're gonna line it up. Nope. Struggling to line it up today. No. Okay. Punch it out. Okay. we have our moose. Oh, I also forgot to mention, you need Stampin' Dimensionals. Sorry guys. Here I am thinking, oh, I got this. So you're going to need Stampin' Dimensionals. Let's use the mini ones. So we have two sizes. We have the big ones and we have the mini ones. Now, let's use the big one actually. Oh, look at that. I bent my moose's leg. Okay, so we're gonna put 1, 2. And then we're gonna mount him on here. Actually, before we mount him on here, expand this a bit. We're gonna mount it on here. Make sure your cards open in the right way. I'm gonna use the Stampin' Seal. And you're gonna mount this on this. So you can use the grid paper to help you align it, or just eyeball it, or do something like I did, which is accidentally flip it. Okay, that looks straight. Oh, you can tell my trimmers though, I gotta change the blade on that. Okay, is this dry yet? Almost. Okay, so this will go on here. Sure I didn't ruin that. Okay. Now we're gonna put our moose right about there. And then we're gonna stamp our sentiment. Where's my tuxedo black? There it is. And let's change this out to Merry Christmas. Did I do that tuxedo black? Or I did a night of navy? You know what? Let's do it a night of navy. Yeah, let's do it a night of navy. So we didn't need tuxedo black. Okay. I like this somewhere here. Okay. And finally, our rhinestones. So you can use your take your pick tool, your fingers or whatnot. I don't know where my take a pick tool is right now. So I'm gonna use my scissors. And we're gonna put this here. One. Two. And you're done. So you can put a white insert in here and write your sentiment, or you can leave it as is. And here's your card. So what do you think? If you like the shimmery crystals on the trees, you can by all means do that. I preferred it without it after doing that. And yeah, here's the card, guys. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you. See you all soon. Bye.